Hey guys, Jacob here. I'm here with Ari today. We're going to go through our prepping procedures. Our prepping process is something each of our team members should follow every single time we load a vehicle here at Rain Car Wash. So in this video, we're going to telegraph each motion play by play and be very intentional about what we're doing here in the tunnel space. In this video, I will be playing the role of the boss or the loader. Ari is going to be playing the role of the wingman. Ari, why don't you tell them what you're responsible for as the vehicle approaches?
Yeah, so while you're seeing the boss position, Jacob bringing the vehicle in, you're going to see me watching the vehicle come in. Obviously, Jacob can see the driver's side of the vehicle when he's bringing it in. He can't see the passenger side. So for particularly large vehicles, he doesn't necessarily know whether that vehicle is properly aligned. He doesn't know if the tires, the passenger side tires, are over the black marks and therefore at risk for an unsafe or suboptimal alignment. So I'm going to be telling him if he has an issue there. I'm also looking at the front of the vehicle and I'm looking at the passenger side of the vehicle that he can't see when he's loading. Go ahead, Jacob.
So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate bringing a car into the vehicle. I've removed my safety cone. I'm making eye contact with the guest. I am now welcoming them into the facility, and Ari's paying attention to the tires on his side. I'm paying attention to the tires on my side, giving hand signals to just make sure that the guest is lined up, and I'm going to stop them right before the belt.
Okay, now I'm going to jump in there for a moment, Jacob, if I can. As the wingman, remember, my responsibility is the front of the vehicle, inspection of the front, and the passenger side. In this instance, I can see right away, and one of the things we're going to point out often, any loose, rusted, rotted, cracked aftermarket parts is what we're looking at when we are inspecting the vehicle. In this case, we have a loose plate. It's only secured by 2 screws. The plate is bent out. Very high risk here that our brushes are going to grab this. It's very easy if you envision our brushes going around to grab a plate like this. So in an instance like this, I'm going to notify the boss, and then he's going to take action on that. And importantly, I'm going to hand clean with our brushes the front of the vehicle because Jacob is going to put a retract in place that he'll talk about while I do so.
So I hear Ari call out the grill retract and a loose license plate. So I'm putting the grill retract on the VQ. My responsibilities as the boss are to inspect the driver's side of the vehicle and also the rear of the vehicle. So I'm looking for, again, loose, rusted, otherwise previously damaged parts, and I'm looking for retracts. This is a Jeep Wrangler, so I can see on the back of the vehicle I have a 5th wheel here. So I am going to apply a hitch retract. I'm also calling that out to my wingman so that he knows. And more importantly, I'm going to have a conversation with the guest about their loose license plate. So nice and friendly, always kind and courteous. How you doing today, sir?
Yeah.
I'm doing great. I just want to let you know that your license plate is loose. It's only being held on by 2 screws. The wash is very powerful. So what we did is we took the front brush off. We did clean the front of the vehicle, but I can't promise you that the license plate will survive the wash process. Are you good?
Uh-huh.
All right, great. Just have your window up and wait for my instructions.
You betcha.
All right, thanks.
Jacob, if I could pick up from there for 1 second. Now remember, we're using our prep brushes. We've got 2 here. We've got a rinse bucket, which I have in the front. We've got a soap bucket to the rear that I'm using for soaping the vehicle. Now, importantly, place them in the same position. So you know, meaning always put, in this case, I put my rinse bucket in the front, my soap and chemistry bucket in the rear, so I always know which is which, and I'm not switching them every time I'm refilling buckets. We're always rinsing first after we clean a vehicle to make sure there's no sand, grit, rocks, anything in the brush, and then we go into the soap bucket, and then I can go to the side of the vehicle and touch any areas that need it. Around the door handles if I like, right? If I need to. While I'm doing that, I can point out. Remember, we're on camera here, so if you see big scratches, dents otherwise, this is your opportunity on camera to just quickly point them out. It only takes a second to do so, and so I do so right then and there. Go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, and Ari, I just wanted to expand upon that. If we see a lot of caked on mud, dirt, bird poop, surface solids, we want to be applying our prep gun. So if we do see something that is of concern to us that we want to use the prep gun to get off, that's when we can take an opportunity to blast the front of the vehicle or blast that part of the vehicle and get any surface solids off.
Jacob, let me just double up on that for a second because I want to emphasize this. Whenever we're using our prep brushes, right, we want to make certain, if you see what Jacob just described, a bunch of caked on dirt, sand, mud, things like that, hit it with the trigger gun first before you apply the brush. If you start brushing, even with a clean brush, on all kinds of sand and dirt, whether it's on the side, the front, or the rear of the vehicle, you're simply going to rub that sand right into the paint of the vehicle. So take a moment if you see it, as he just said, blast it off first if you need to, and then use your prep brush only after you've first blown that off the vehicle. Go ahead, Jacob.
Very good. Thank you, Ari. So we've applied our retracts. We've prepped the front of the car. We've notified the guest about the concern with the license plate. Now we're ready to load the vehicle. So I'm going to send the car on the VQ, start our belt. Again, I always want to make sure I'm in good, safe loading position right in front of the guest. I'm going to welcome them onto the belt. This is important, maintaining eye contact with them. I'm showing the sign for neutral. You good? Right? He gives me a thumbs up indicating that he understands my motion. Right? He is in neutral. I'm watching the car enter the belt. Ari is taking time to prep the back of the vehicle because we have a hitch retract on. And I'm just making sure we got a good load. All 4 tires are on, and the car is not in drive.
And I just want to emphasize one other thing for the video. Again, remember, I'm now rinsing now, getting my brush ready for the next vehicle. We, both the boss and I as the wingman, are watching that vehicle, especially if there's a retract in place or there's aftermarket components. Your job is never done once you flip that sign around and shown them neutral, no brakes, and confirmed, importantly, that they are in neutral. You're watching the vehicle to make sure everything is doing what it needs to do. If you see something that looks awry, we've got e-stops here. We've got e-stops over there to be able to stop the belt, stop the equipment quickly. One other thing I want to add, Jacob, and I know you'll concur with this. One of the common complaints we get from our guests is when they see us prep a vehicle in front of them, but not prep their vehicle. Part of this instructional video today is to emphasize that this is a process we're using on every vehicle. It may be just a really quick little prep. It may be a vehicle that's pretty clean, that only requires a quick touch with the brush or even the trigger gun, but we want to make sure we take the time on every vehicle to give it that same prep process so that we don't have guests that feel like they got substandard service from us, right, Jacob?
Absolutely. And when I'm finished loading the vehicle, always put your safety cone out to make sure nobody enters the wash without our instruction. And then don't always forget, give your wingman a fist bump, right? Good teamwork in the tunnel always results in positive success. So thank you. The next video that you'll see, we'll do this in real time and it'll be much faster.